Looks like we got a quorum and instructions to get it started, so we'll start this, what's today's date? March 25th, 2025 meeting of the Zionsville Redevelopment Commission. We'll start with the consent agenda items, which is, as we have typically here, nothing new. It doesn't look like. We got a monthly report, TIF area, approval and adoption of minutes from the February 25th meeting, and then the claims for approval. Mr. Deputy Mayor, anything with any of these items worth noting above and beyond the normal?
No, I think the only thing you'll see on there that hasn't been on there before is the first invoice for Cat Sapper Miller Government Affairs Consulting related to economic development. And you'll see those monthly going forward.
All right. Any commissioners have any questions or comments on the consent items? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Yeah, okay, thank you. Moving on, the director's report.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick update on Creekside. We are moving forward with lots 1 and 3 have shown some interest. We haven't had any formal letters of intent or term sheets yet, but there is some interest, so we're excited about that. Lots 7 and 8, that's exclusive auto sports. They have made some changes to their design, and they will be coming back before the Architectural Review Committee here in the near future, and then we'll hopefully be filing for the May meeting of the Plan Commission. Lot 2, which is Kreider and Kreider, are still making some refinements to their design, and we should be hearing back from them soon to come back before the Architectural Review Committee. And then Lot 9, which is Intelligent Living Solutions, we are negotiating the development agreement with them and hope to have that development agreement for the April 21st meeting. And those are the main highlights and things I wanted to report on today.
Great.
Oh, yes, sir.
Will we be able to review that development agreement prior to approval?
Yes, we can make sure that that's shared once we've got a final version. We've got some edits we're working through right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the director? All right, moving on, old business. Was a lot of the old business included in that? Or is there anything new you have for old business?
No.
All right. So moving on to new business. First, we have the Creekside EDA additional appropriation.
Yes, so this is really a matter of timing in terms of payments that are made from the Creekside contractual services line. The primary thing being related to the split of TIF increment that is created with the Zionsville Community School Corporation. So we made a payment that was designed to be made in the latter part of 24, but slid into 25 as a result of a closing. And then there was also a back payment that needed to be made, which covered the years for 2022 and 2023, and then also making sure that we've got funding sufficient to make the additional payment that we'll make later this year. So again, this is really just not necessarily certainly not a lack of funding, but rather just a timing in terms of how it was budgeted versus how the payments were made.
And was that when we did the budget, we didn't have the exact numbers, and that's why it wasn't included?
Correct. I think we were still refining the numbers as it relates to the back payment, and then also there was just the timing issue as to when the payments were made.
Questions on?
My only question is, didn't we already approve this last meeting? I thought we did.
We probably discussed it maybe on a finance committee meeting, but we haven't fully
that's what I
approved this here
remember.
in front of
Sorry.
this full commission. No worries at all.
I was going to say, this, I haven't heard about this yet,
Okay.
so.
Sorry, it must have been in the finance committee, then I'm sorry.
I think it's confusing too because there's the back pay issue and then future payment issue. And so we've talked about it several times, but different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all wrapped up in this one action right here now.
This is
right?
not. This is moving the budget, because it was budgeted in 24, but we're actually not paying it till 25. So we're just making the budget line item appropriate for the payment, if that makes sense.
How much longer does the split?
29.
29, okay.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-02?
Moved.
We'll take one as a move and the other one can get the second. All right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next item, Creekside Lots 7 and 8. It's an amendment to the development agreement.
Yes, so this is again 7 and 8, which is exclusive auto sports. We've been working through the process as I discussed a moment ago, as it relates to the architectural review and their design. And as a result of that, I think just needed some extra time. So the amendment that we've made to the development agreement states that we shall have until July 31st, on or before July 31st. And then also, as it relates to a closing period, extends that as well. So it just essentially gives us additional time to work through the process so that we can get this project all done and their approvals as it relates to their architecture and the building and development plan.
Questions on this amendment? All right. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the amendment to the development agreement for lots 7 and 8 in Creekside?
I will make a motion to approve the amendment to the development agreement with Exclusive Land LLC.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next is a resolution delegating purchasing authority to the Zionsville deputy mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We're working on this one a little bit more to refine it, and so I think what I would ask today is to table this resolution, and then we can bring it back before the April meeting.
Have any questions or concerns with that?
Nope.
All right, great. So probably, do we have a motion to table the resolution delegating purchasing authority to the Zionsville deputy mayor?
I'll move to table the resolution.
All right, is there-
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, it's been tabled. Then last, under new business, is the Holiday Farms EDA, the bond project payment.
I will hand over the mic to Jeremy from Barnes and Thornburg for this matter.
Thanks, Justin. Mr. President, members of the commission, I'm Jeremy Ullum with Barnes and Thornburg. We represent Hinkie Development and Holiday Farms in this matter. I'll give you 30 seconds of history and then walk through kind of what we're asking of you today. So this relates to what's defined in the project agreement as Phase 2 of Holiday Farms, which is really some commercial outlots and some townhomes related, kind of adjacent there too. I think you're all probably very familiar with the writ large Holiday Farms development. This economic development area was established back in 2019 in connection with the original development. The allocation area was established, but nothing's been done since that time with the TIF revenues or with that allocation area. At the time of setup, the discussion was that 80% of that TIF would be available for infrastructure and the like at the development, and it's really being used now, sized up to support the infrastructure associated with this additional final commercial piece. So you'll ultimately see before you an opportunity, a pledge resolution at your April meeting. The town council did introduce the bond ordinance that received a unanimous vote on St. Patrick's Day last week. Those bonds would be sized around maximum of $7.5 million to cover costs, and then cover about $7.2 million of infrastructure, again related to this kind of commercial development. The TIF report, I think you'll find, will show more than sufficient coverage. Hinkie does intend to purchase the bonds. They have flexibility in the development agreement to have a third-party purchaser, but there's no intention of that at this time. They're intending to purchase the bonds. The only thing before you today that is a short and sweet resolution to approve the project agreement, which kind of outlines their obligations with respect to the anticipated project, your best efforts to help implement the incentives and the TIF pledge. But again, we'll be back before you April 22nd, I believe, is your next meeting. The town council will consider the ordinance for adoption the day before, on April 21st. So we should be kind of fully approved at the council when we come back to you in April. Doug Fleener's with me from Hinkie Development. My colleague Max Adams is here, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Jeremy, any question from the commissioners? I guess I just want a comment.
Yep.
My understanding is this is just memorializing and taking through approval the deal that was negotiated between the developer and the town prior to the start.
Yeah,
of
there's
the-
no
the-
change
yeah.
in request from what was discussed. I was not involved in 2019, but my understanding is from what has been discussed since 2019.
So are we approving this project agreement or the reimbursement piece of this?
Project agreement today. And then April 22nd would be the consideration of a pledge of 80% of the TIF revenue to the bond issue.
This is relative to the project, the bond, the next action will be relative to the bonds to support the project.
And has this project agreement been in front of the RDC before for review, or is this the first time we're seeing this?
I'm aware of.
Okay.
I think it's been back and forth quite a few times with
I'm new here,
staff,
so I'm-
certainly.
I'm
No,
learning,
no
yeah.
worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wish it was our only one time, right? But it tends to take more.
Who, Justin, who drafted, who worked on this for the town? Is it,
It was primarily drafted by Barnes and Thornburg, but then outside counsel for this deal, Ice Miller, and then also John Oberlander and myself all have refined and I think got it into a really good spot.
okay, great. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve RDC resolution approving the project agreement for Holiday Farms EDA.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion carries.
Shit, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Moving on to other business, any updates from the Finance Committee?
We reviewed claims. We will have a draft 5-year TIF report from Crow soon. I'm not sure how many boards that has to go to, but we don't have it yet. So we'll probably have the draft at our committee meeting next month. And then we discuss the additional appropriation resolution that you guys already reviewed, so.
There's one item that came in after our meeting that I just want to make you aware. The 2012 RDA lease rental revenue bond matured on February 1st. This bond was paid for with the Zionsville EDA TIF dollars, and we were actually reimbursed $483,663 that'll go back into the Zionsville EDA fund.
Great, and why were we reimbursed?
It very well could have been, we have a debt reserve account,
Yeah.
you know, or something to that
Gotcha,
effect.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
That's good news. All right.
We are also working on the format of our budget. Staff kind of wants to change what that looks like. It makes it easier to reconcile on the financial system, so that may be coming as well.
Great. Moving on, Governance Committee? No. Did we
Sir,
meet?
we have no, yeah, we have no update for the governance committee.
That was my recollection as well.
Yes.
So, then lastly, the Zionsville CDC. Is anyone here to report since Ryan is not, or?
I might rely on my colleague Zach here as well, but we had a meeting of the CDC last week, and I don't know if you want to give a little bit more details on the grant that was recommended for approval that I think will probably come before your next meeting.
Yeah, so there was a grant that came before the CDC for Movement Chiropractic. They are a new small business that moved into a space on Michigan Avenue, located within our Michigan EDA. They basically went from gravel floors, open walls, and built the space out for a chiropractic office, and due to some financial constraints, we're looking for some relief, and that's why they came to the CDC. The CDC has recommended a approval of that grant, but they will be coming before you all in April to see if you would like to refine that or approve or deny that. They're asking right now for roughly $30,000 to help assist that grant.
Where are they located?
I can't remember. It's a large brick building on the west side on Michigan Road. I'm trying to think of who's
South of 121st?
But just south of Lost Run Farms?
Yeah.
Yeah, south
Yeah.
of 121st, okay.
Yeah.
And on the left side,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which, I'm trying to figure out which building that may be. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe has the oral surgeon
No,
in it?
it's
I'm not,
the whole building is a medical office building. There's about 3 different tenants. I think it's either an eye doctor or a dentist that's the main tenant on the 2nd floor.
Like a Max Official surgeon.
it. I think it's that one,
Facial.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
and just to remind, oh, go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, we'll give you a full overview, and if you have specific questions, we can discuss it at the meeting once it's presented.
And then there was discussion by this body last year as it relates to a policy in terms of really ensuring that grants go towards hard infrastructure that essentially cannot be removed, and then also that it is a 40% max. So I think there was a lot of back and forth, I'd say 3 meetings on this to really refine what was allowable and really try to narrow it down to those things which were sort of extraordinary costs. Because again, as Zach referenced, there was no floor poured. It was really a completely empty shell. So there was really lots of discussion about that. But again, we can discuss that more at the April meeting.
While you're up here,
Yes.
how's the restroom trailer coming? I saw the pads out and.
Yes, so it should be here on Thursday. There's some final work that I think needs to be done, and then hopefully it'll be in place by mid-April.
Yeah, I was super surprised to see them, like, they were out there cutting
Yes.
in the parking lot up the same day that I think that we were approving and going through everything. I mean, they were ready. They were ready, so that's awesome.
We had it teed up, and we also, that's part of the reason why we wanted to make sure there was a press release so that folks kind of knew, and, it can always be a little concerning when trees are cut down and people go, what's going on? So, yes, it'll be there in that pad that's been placed there to the south of the Friendly, and then you'll see also there's some soil there that gives us a spot to do some landscaping to buffer it a little bit.
Great.
Deputy Mayor, anything else from your perspective?
Nothing further.
All right, commissioners, anyone have anything? All right,
Motion to adjourn?
all right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Meeting adjourned. See you April 22nd.